Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. I'm Mike Milan, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend and my partner, Blaine Birch, the CEO and founder of Dry Run, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. What's up, man?
Oh boy, we're getting going a little late today. That's all my fault because I was sitting there working and totally engrossed that I see this text come in and like, oh, somehow I lost an hour of my day, just disappeared up in smoke. I had no idea what time it was.
I'm telling you, if anybody's going to be late to recording the podcast, it's going to be Cashflow Mike.
That's true.
It's
actually.
never Blaine Birch.
It's
never Blaine Birch.
I'm usually on early because I got to set everything up, and I was so that makes me even later than usual. But we're on and we're going, and it's good to be back. It's good to be on. Kind of beer you got going today?
Yeah, you know what? I'm trying to 10%, all right? So don't tell Courtney. But I saw this. It's out of Boulder, Colorado, and every year I go to Boulder, and I just signed a new contract this year for the graduate school banking out in Colorado.
Nice.
And I don't know. I like Avery Brewery out there.
Yeah,
and it's called Maharaja.
Oh, it's an IPA. Actually, the 10% IPA is the like a double or triple that's that heavy is a little bit rare, but Avery's got some nice beer. They know how to make some nice, strong beer taste really good. So nice one.
Yeah, and I don't know if I can connect it to today's podcast though, but I'm especially. It says dank on it. Dank is in the good thing, right? It says mighty dank smooth.
I don't know. I like it. When I see like a double or a triple and it says dank, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a good one. I like that. A little bit of
dank is good.
Well,
dank is good.
I like it. It's got a little bit of meat to it. It's maybe a bit of an acquired taste, but I like it. I think you're going to like that one.
All right, we'll go with it. How about you?
So I think I may have done this one already, but it just was one of the ones that I saw in the fridge. It's this Outer Range Brewing. Let's see if I can get it. And it's Pass was closed, and it's kind of a winter hazy IPA. So I just thought this Outer Range has been really good, and so I've been buying a few of these guys. And anyway, let's have to grab it, give it a go. So and as always, we have beer sponsors, which I got to take a look over here. Now before we continue, if you guys want to be a beer sponsor, go to mikeandblaine.com. $5 buys us a beer, and you'll be featured with this list. And it does start to fill up usually over the year. We're brand new into the year. We've got some sponsors are going all the way to the end of the year already. But also, please subscribe, and tell your friends. I'm going to sneak that in early because we always forget.
Always forget. Why do we forget like that? Right? You just go to Mike and Blaine. It says buy us a beer. It's that easy, right? It's $5.
Exactly.
So.
Yep.
Devin, I guess, I'm going to go ahead and just call out Devin right quick. Devin kicking butt over LSU, right? All the crazy things he's getting to do, all the people he's getting to meet, all the experiences that he's having. If you want to know the best LSU fan on the planet, dude, you probably even see him walking around campus every once in a while. Go check out the bookstore at LSU, ask for Devin, say, I heard about you on Mike and Blaine, because that's the guy.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Devin. And Neighbor Pat, I'm going to thank Neighbor Pat for bringing you beer. Did he bring you that? No, you brought that one from Colorado, or did you just pick it out because you...
No, I picked it out because it was Colorado. Because it's
Colorado.
Boulder.
So this one didn't even come from Neighbor Pat, but I know he brings you beer numerous times a week. And so thanks again, Pat, for sponsoring the show and for supporting us for so long. Appreciate it.
Dude, Pat is busy. He is a sports parent. I mean, his daughter... freshman in high school, superstar on the water polo team, marching band. Now she's wrestling.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Man, and super smart at the same time. She has got so many skills. This is an amazing kid, right? Just an amazing person, super polite, super nice. just gets things done, man. You got to really love it when you see a kid like that. So I'm going to say something nice about Pat and his ability to father children, because he's doing a good job.
I'm just waiting for you to say, and he's so much better at that than cornhole. I was expecting it. I thought that was coming.
Dude, I gave it to you. It was like a softball. Like, oh, there it is.
But he sending it to me or not? I'm like, yeah, no, he sending it to me. So sorry, Pat.
That's all right. Hey, you know what's funny? You hearing about this winter weather everybody's getting?
I heard about it. We're not getting it. It's beautiful here.
You're getting it. Yeah. Dude, it's 71 degrees. I put this on just in case people are like, what are they doing up there? I put a little jacket on, but occasionally I get a little chilly, even at 60 and 70.
I know. Yeah. I go outside, and especially if it's warm in the house, and I go outside, I'm like, oh my God, I need a jacket. And it's like, yeah, 72, 73.
You know who's going to get slammed? Karen Harrison up in Michigan, right? She's in Michigan. They're going to get smoked with cold weather. Be careful. Whoever's out there, don't drive on the ice. Don't get in the snow. Now that you're going to be stuck in your house, go to Amazon and buy Karen Harrison's book called Stop Growing Broke and Start Growing Profit. So she's with 3S Smart Consulting. It's a good time to educate on cash flow and get her involved with any type of cash flow problems you have. 3S Smart Consulting. Karen Harrison lives up in Michigan.
And of course, you can binge watch Mike and Blaine on YouTube. We'll keep you
company. Time now.
Keep you company.
You're gonna be stuck. You might as well. You got time.
Exactly. And honestly, I hear up in Canada that where I'm from in Edmonton, I hear that they had so much snow and it was so frozen and so cold, and then it got a little too warm, and now everything's iced over, and so people don't even want to leave their house because it's just you're taking your life in your hands. There's so much ice. So I'm hoping that settles down pretty quick. So I know we're spoiled down here because it's kind of the same every day, and just really nice. So. Anyway, I guess we should kick into the show here.
All right. So here's the thing. So I was watching, I don't know if you ever watch My Next Guest with David Letterman.
I do, but I haven't seen this year's yet. Yeah.
All right. So this is where this came from, right? I'm sitting there, and I'd always heard about him, but I always thought he made like kids videos. I didn't think it was like for adults and stuff. And I didn't pay much attention to him. But when somebody's the number one like person on YouTube forever and ever and ever, now he's like one of the world's richest people, right? We're talking about MrBeast. His name is Donaldson. Jeffrey? John? I
don't even know his real name, to be completely honest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. Jimmy Donaldson is his name, right? I had to look up real quick. But Jimmy Donaldson. Now check this out. He just regular joke like you and I, and he's from small town, like super small town. Not a lot of opportunities. That's what the coolest thing was. Now, but he got involved with YouTube early.
Yeah,
and he calls himself the Netflix of YouTube. Why? Well, he's got as many choices and channels as anybody else, like a regular Netflix. Yeah. But what's interesting is that when I heard him talk, he doesn't come across when he's speaking. First of all, his TV personality and who he's interviewed, totally different people, right? He's just a down-to-earth kind of introvert almost, not who you see him being the crazy guy doing crazy things all the time. So I really respected that. I'm like, hey, he's on. He realizes that, he's a character in the play, right? As part of his business. But I was more interested in the way he talked about the business, because you got to realize, as early on as he was, there was no business model. There's no template to becoming MrBeast. I mean, there is now, but when he did it, there wasn't, right? That's what I want to talk about, is how groundbreaking the things that he did was.
Yeah. And I only know a little bit about it. So I'm actually really interested to hear some detail on how he did it, outside of, I know, like it's just a tricky part. He's got first mover advantage. He was in there early. But it doesn't mean something's going to work. He figured out and he set a plan that actually worked. But if you try and replicate that today, it's so crowded. I don't even know if it would ever work again. Right. So but I'm excited to hear some of the background on it. I'll have to watch that episode.
Well, here you and I are, right? You and I, we got dashboards, we got KPIs, we got things like that. He goes, I only look at one thing. I have one metric. I run the whole business off one metric. Now, I'm sure that there's a little bit of exaggeration there.
Yeah.
But the one metric he runs off of is clicks. I guess it'd be two. He calls it one, but it's because I think one can't happen without the other. So clicks, somebody comes and looks at a video, and how long do they stay? That's it. He don't care about subscribers. He don't care about likes. He don't care about comments. He don't care about any of that stuff. He wants you to click on the video and stay for the duration.
Yep.
Right. That's why he does a lot of these time challenges. That's why he does a lot of this. Who's going to, and he learned that people will do crazy things for a specific amount of money. And it started off with smaller amounts, and now it's crazy amounts. Like, who will stand in the circle for $1 million? Yep. First person to leave the circle doesn't get the money, or what, the last person to leave gets all the money.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was one of the things that I think he picked up on is he brought money into it really quick, like really early, and got really substantial dollars. And that was the big thing because he was putting out way more money than game shows. So he just, it's not like he bought his way in, but he just made it interesting. Like, wow, someone could win $1 million for doing something slightly better than someone else.
Well, at first it was just crazy challenges, and then he got sponsored, and the money came from sponsors.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. I thought he had started with that. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's where the money came from. Now he puts up his own money, right? So, I mean, it's that. So early on, it was like, we'll say, I don't forget, it was Red Bull, Monster, or whatever would sponsor a challenge.
Yeah.
And they were putting up the money. So it was, but he couldn't get there without the craziness of the first ones.
Yes. Yeah.
And
there was, it's so common now. There was nothing back then, really.
Yeah. Right. And he would just, one of his first viral videos was him counting to, forget what it was, like a trillion or something crazy. And he just filmed himself counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it said it took him, and it was the most miserable thing he'd ever done was just count. And I forget the number. We'll call it 1 million, right? I'm going to count to 1 million. Think about how long it would take you to just count on a video to 1 million. Well, you can't really leave the room. He said it took like all day or something like that to do, just count. And it was the fact that people just kept going on and watching it just to see if he could do it. Think about that. How simple is it? It says, I'm just going to count. How many people watch me count? And not many people did. Early on, of course, nobody's watching it, but then all of a sudden, it catches on later. It's like, it's something that just doesn't die.
Yeah. It's amazing what people will watch, but somehow it's either entertaining or it isn't. There's something engaging about it. Like it catches people and they watch. One of the things I watched, I'm on, I listen to Edmonton Sports Talk pretty much every morning. So it's just streamed on YouTube, streamed on iHeart, and I think now they actually are on a FM radio station in the morning. It actually plays music all day, except they play the morning sports show. And it's guys that were on one of the big national networks and got like they shut the network down. These guys all lost their job, and so they started this local channel, and so it's a bunch of young guys. They're not that young. Like the guy that runs it isn't even that young, but they act like children, and they have an office. They got a ton of sponsors, and so yesterday they do drafts all the time, and it started out with drafting teams and things, and then they've got into all kinds of silly things that they draft, and then people judge their draft. Well, last night they were drafting chores in the office. It took a half an hour. And so they have this list of chores, and then you draw straws. And so people come in and go like, well, I'm going to take mopping. Well, I'm going to trade my mopping for the bathroom. And they literally did this chore draft but it actually was really kind of funny and just ridiculous. They had 250 comments in their chore draft. So, yeah. And I watched it, and I watched the whole bloody thing. I sat there and watched it. Like, I'm like, oh, this is dumb. And then you start watching it, and it actually got pretty funny. And so you just watch the entire thing. But there's something about it where they just had the right hook. They had the right silliness. They had the right, it was funny. But it's amazing what people watch. And they got people to watch for over a half an hour. It was fascinating to me. But that's the thing is, how do you, like you said, he wants people to stay through the video. So you see today, people will introduce their video and then they'll have some reason that you should stay to the end. Like a lot of the whiskey ones, I was like, hey, I got a mystery pour at the end or whatever, because they want you to stay. I don't know how many of those tactics work though.
Well, you know, I mean, everybody's got kind of an origin story, right? And his is more kind of a myth, but what happened is that he said, hey, I'm going to give away everything I earn, right, up front. And so he created these videos of things that he earned. And there was at one point in time $1 million. He said, yeah, I earned $1 million. And he went out and gave it to a random person and videoed the whole thing, earning it, you know, and then, you know, and you got to realize his videos aren't like what we do. They're not like a, hey, I'm going to spend 15 minutes here or 30 minutes there. I mean, it may be an hour-long video that he has, but it may have taken him 7 months to do it or a year to do it. Mm-hmm. He has a full studio now, where it's full time. Just he may have 6, 7, 10, 15 things going on at once about how long can you do this? What can you do? I mean, he challenged the guy to lose weight, right? So there's some philanthropy that's behind it. You're like, oh, hey, listen, if you can lose these 85 pounds, you know, in 80 days in this building, never leave this building, just eat the food that we bring you and do the exercise if you want to or not. Didn't give him a coach, you know, just left him in there. Guy won like, I don't know, $500,000 for just losing weight, but he had to spend 90 days. He only had 90 days to do it.
That doesn't sound like the healthiest way to lose weight, but hopefully they ask a doctor first.
But think about the myth. I mean, when people figure out, says, "Oh, if MrBeast around, he might just give you money." You never. I mean, that's what happened. So you're like going, "Well, who's this MrBeast?" And then you start watching it. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the ones that even scared me. I'm like going, "Damn, I'm not scared of a lot of things," but one of the things he did, I'm like going, "That would never be me." He spent like, I forget how many days. We'll call it 4 or 5 days. Buried alive in a glass coffin.
I wouldn't do now. It was 30 seconds.
It was oversized. We could move around, and there was a way for him to get food and stuff like that into it. But at the same time, when he could get food and drinks and things like that into it, his friends were on the ground surface. He's buried.
Yeah.
Right. With cameras in this glass coffin, you know. And they are fucking with him something bad, pumping in the worst music, you know, just anything to keep him up, to make him miserable, to make him want to quit. They're just screwing with him from the top with sound and everything else into this thing.
There's no way. I wouldn't make it 10 seconds. There's no way.
I think it was like 50 hours. I mean, I know that, what is that, 4 or 5 days?
That's over 4 days, I think. Or no, that's over 2 days. 2 days and 2 hours.
All right, so 2 days. I mean, I don't know math, apparently.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, we both should be doing math a little better than that. There's only 24 hours a day.
I'm going, can you imagine? I can't imagine a day in that.
Oh, no. Like I said, 10 seconds and I would be freaking 10. I wouldn't even get to 10 seconds before I'd freak out.
On this David Letterman thing, they showed just a clip of them throwing the first scoops and stuff of dirt in it. And the camera angles are just beautiful, right? Where the dirt's falling on top of it and he's in there and you can see the dirt and I mean, everything like this. And I'm going, oh, I'm out. I'm out.
Yep. Yeah. They'd close the lid. I'd be done. I'm done. $10 million. Don't care. Done. 20 million. There isn't a number. There isn't a number that could get me to do that for 50 hours. There isn't any kind of number.
Now here's been something smart, right? And I think you'll like this, business guy. Think of the views. Everybody goes, oh, influencer, he gets all his money from sponsors or whatever it is, right? That's not what he's doing now. When you talk about the Flywheel, he has physical products now.
Okay. Yep.
This thing called Feastables, think like Lunchables, whatever, Feastables,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some other product. But they're all like healthy food choices and drinks, and I think maybe an energy drink. I don't know what it is, or some type of drink.
Mike and Blaine mug.
Love it. There you go.
Cool.
We got merch.
Go to mikeandblaine.com. Buy a mug, buy a shirt.
But that's what he does.
Yep.
He's using that to drive traffic now to the physical products. And he did something like, I don't know, $10 million the first year of these Feastables.
Man, crazy.
Because he has some ridiculous amount of followers, and it's just part of it. Yep. He's one of the sponsors of his own videos, and it just drove $10 million worth of business to it.
The thing to me is that obviously he's an incredibly smart guy, but you also have to get the timing right and the luck right, because he
dropped out of college.
That doesn't mean it isn't smart. Maybe he was real smart to drop out of college.
Dropped out of college. You don't care about that.
Yeah, but he and we know from startup land and everything, luck and timing play a huge role. And there definitely timing was enormous for him to be able to get there. And it was also insight, but how much of it was luck that he probably tried a bunch of things and something just like, oh, geez, this worked, and he recognized it and drove forward on it, right?
His right now is connecting to, he's got impeccable timing of what's happening on the internet. Like, one of the things was Squid Games. You remember that show, Squid Game?
Yes. I've never watched it, but I saw clips or whatever. Yeah.
It was a Netflix or whatever, like, phenomenon. People would watch it. It was kind of gory, a little dark. But on the heels of that, he did a real life Squid Game for $1 million.
Oh, really?
He didn't die, but he would set up the game.
Okay.
He would just do the games the same way. He would do the same games that they did on that. Winner gets $1 million. And if you lost, you had to leave.
Well, and I saw something, I don't know if it was on HBO Max or something, that he has something now. It was or maybe it's replaying.
He's got a game show. He's got it was the same stuff he was doing in his YouTube videos. They just became a game show.
Yeah. It's amazing to me, because the other one that I've heard about, because I remember listening to a podcast, I think it was How I Built This, for Dude Perfect. And it was the same thing. It's these guys just started doing these.
Went to A&M.
Yeah.
Courtney knows either them or of them. I mean, Dude Perfect came from Texas A&M.
Oh, crazy.
And it was just sports. It was sports crazy videos. Like, I think most of them were faked, but it was still fun.
I'm not sure they were faked, because when I heard the interview, they just, it sounded like they just kept at it and filmed till they got it. And they have
come on.
But they're not probably going to admit on the thing, but no, like they claim that it's all legit, but I guess you couldn't otherwise. But anyway, like they did create an entire business, like a little production company out of it. And, it's amazing to see, but it's amazing to see superstar companies like it's still sort of owned by a lot of times the originator. No matter how big they get, it's still this personality that somehow caught some fire. And the thing is with people, it seems from the outside, well, it's got to be easy to do. It couldn't be further from the truth. It is so crowded that, YouTube would be a great example. What would it be? The top 0.001%, if that, that's making like some really serious money every year. And that's still a lot of people, because there's so many people and so many channels on YouTube, right?
Yeah, his naming is incredible though, right? We're always trying to figure it out. Like, I spent 50 hours buried alive. These are the names of his videos.
Yeah.
giving $1 million to random people. I opened a free bank. I bought everything in a store for $100,000. I survived 24 hours in the wilderness. $456,000 hide and seek. There's some curiosity behind all of those titles.
We've kind of learned that lesson too. We've been upping our SEO game, because really, if people don't find the title, see the title, attracted to the title, then they're not even getting to the little snapshot. And if they're not attracted to the snapshot, they're not going to. It's amazing that all the steps you have to get through to get someone to click and start watching, and then get them to stick all the way through. All those sound impressive, except for I stayed in the woods for 24 hours. Is not that impressive. Like, okay, that's called camping, man. Yeah. Unless he was naked in the winter in, Yukon, it's not that impressive to me, but hey, good for you.
Hey, not to us, but maybe some 15-year-old's never been outside of his room in a video game. Yeah. Yeah. His mom told him he can't even walk around the block.
I guess, like, I know I spent over 24 hours in the woods in the winter with nothing more than a sleeping bag and some matches with a few of my friends. And so, and it was cold. We got fire going. If we didn't have fire, we'd probably not be here. That was a bit of an uncomfortable night, but
the worst training I ever went to in the Army was winter training.
Yeah. I
hated it. I can do hot. I mean, they send me to Honduras. They send me to Panama. I can do that. You send me cold, man. I don't know what it is. Texan bones don't like cold.
There's a reason I'm down in Scottsdale here, because I spent way too many times freezing my arse off in Canada. And there's times I just never, and cold it is the worst. It's the hardest thing. I've never been so cold in my life. And, 3 or 4 times it pop into my mind, and you just, it's awful. It's awful. So, but when I was younger, I was a lot braver, and I would do stupid stuff like that. But that's probably why I can't deal with cold today. So it catches up with you.
Yeah. So one of the things that he said that kind of struck me is that, you remember how we always say fail fast? Right? Yeah. Like, that's one of the things we kind of say, even if he's had, I don't know, put a bunch of effort, put a bunch of time, put a bunch of money into an idea to try to get it off the ground, if they can't make the first 30 seconds work, they scrap the whole thing, regardless of the investment.
Interesting.
So, we have all this footage, we got all this stuff, but if I can't tell the story and get somebody's attention and make it compelling in the first 30 seconds, we scrap the whole video. And I don't know about you, I don't even think that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, but that's experience there, where he recognizes, you're putting more good money after bad, because for him it's time. And if it's going to be a failure, but it also probably hurts his reputation, right? It's like the whole library can hurt.
Yeah. And he can't put out duds anymore.
Yeah. He's restricted. He can't do that anymore. And it's really interesting. And you can see, I think this is where you see a lot of content creators fail, because they'll hear this sort of story. Like, they'll hear something where, okay, it's about getting the click and keeping people the longest. And so, like, I know I saw a video not too long ago. I have no idea what the channel was. What they did right was that the title was right. And I don't remember what it was. I think it had something to do with food or cooking or something. That's all I can remember. And then it had a really nice title slide that was right. And then I started watching, and the guy had me hooked in the first 20 seconds, and that was right. And then they failed so miserably that if I could block the channel, I would have blocked the channel. Because what he did was he was going, okay, now the final step is to make them stay for 25 or 30 minutes. The problem was, it was a topic. Yeah, the topic was 1 minute to 2 minutes long. And he started to repeat himself, and he started to do the same hook over and over. And also I'm like, this guy's wasting my time. He's trying to manipulate me to stick around. And that's one, like that one, if I could block on YouTube, I would literally block it just to go, never show me that guy again. But also on my news feed, there's like, I'm always reading hockey stuff. There was one of the hockey, and it was a fairly well-known blog. I blocked them the other day because they've caught me about 3 times in the last month with clickbait titles. And I cannot deal with that. I literally block them, and I'm hoping that that's what people will start to do, because I think there's a proper way and a legit way to do what you're doing, and then there's a way where it's like you cheap out, and you're not delivering.
Yeah, so that's so interesting, because that happens to me. Not as I'm quicker to pick up on that stuff now, but in the beginning, I'm like, okay, well, we'd wait around. Like 10 minutes later, I'm like, did get to the point. I mean, you're there, you got me. I'll probably buy your shit if you just say it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because I was already there.
Yeah.
I'm not going, you went past yes. Right? That's what you teach people, is not to go past yes. And they do over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know when you're in your own little tunnel vision, it's hard to sometimes deal with this, but this is where, I guess it's a lesson we should all learn, even for us. Like we definitely have to take it to heart, is that, it's like you have to really respect your user or your customer or whoever it is. It can't just be check off, check, 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 check. Okay, we got the title, we got the this, we got the that. Hey, we got the recipe. Yeah, but you manipulated them, and you failed miserably in a manipulative title or in the content that goes too long, or like, I will tell you, almost every F1 video on YouTube that I've seen. And so again, like I'm starting to learn which of these channels are so awful, and there's a very few that are good. They'll have a clickbait title, and then you start watching it, and they're like, geez, you didn't even cover what was in the title, and you're just droning on about something unrelated. Again, just trying to get me to hang on for 15, 20 minutes. It's just, I can't imagine those will stay around for long, because I don't think you can fool people that long with garbage.
Well, no, and he's been super consistent. This, MrBeast has been super, super consistent.
Yep.
And, but people, again, they only see the video. They don't see the months or the 7 or 10 of the projects, or 3 or 4 of them were scrapped, right? It's what he's developed is a boring, repetitive pattern.
Yeah.
He is systematized content.
Yeah. But the difference is he recognizes the execution side and the quality. Like you said, he will dump something if it's like, it's not good enough, it's not going to work, because he can recognize he's got the system, and other people recognize the system. The difference between him and other people is not only does he have the initial following, but it's the execution. He doesn't let them down. He delivers really good content, and that's what keeps them.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting is because I think he realizes it. When we talked about his game show, meaning he has now moved over to a traditional style of entertainment, right? Things that we're used to. I'll watch a game show, every once in a while, check it out. But that's not what he's done traditionally, that type of game show. So did he realize that his form of entertainment maybe is not long-term?
Is it really? Like, I wonder if the game show is actually just a sideshow that he gets some revenue out of, because the list of watches or views on YouTube, I bet you far surpasses what he gets on traditional streaming. Maybe not, but I wouldn't doubt if he did. I would doubt it.
I bet he gets more on whatever it is, Netflix or wherever he is.
I don't know.
Gets a lot more money per view.
He might get more money per view because of the sponsors and the everything, but the number of viewers and views, I wouldn't be surprised if they far surpass on YouTube.
Yeah, but I don't know that is the future of entertainment, what he's doing. I guess that's the claim I'm making. I don't know that that's the way I want to watch TV from this point forward.
Oh, well, how do you
his of content?
Okay,
his style of content.
Like, well, how do you distinguish his style of content from traditional? I'm just curious, like how you view the two different ones outside of the medium it's on or the service it's on.
All right, and I haven't seen a lot of it, so, but the ones I've seen, it takes so long to get to the end, right? And they drag out it's reality TV, and maybe that's what I'm not a fan of. I don't know that I'm a fan of reality TV, and I've even seen that change, right? I liked The Real World when that came out, but I don't like any of the Real Housewives. Right?
Well, okay, I should qualify. I don't think I've ever watched an entire MrBeast video, and I don't watch reality TV. So, I've tried early on when it came out. It just didn't appeal to me at all, and I've watched the very first episode. I don't even think I made it through the first entire episode of Survivor. Was it 15 years ago? That was it. I just did not ever get the attraction to reality TV in that style. Like, I guess there's some like Top Gear. I don't know if you call it reality TV. I don't think so. But it's probably scripted to some degree, but it's supposed to be more real.
Is that the three guys like from England?
Yeah, the three guys from England. The Clarkson's Farm. I guess technically it's reality, but it doesn't. It's their story in that it doesn't come off to me as reality TV in the same way that like Survivors.
They got their own racetrack they take these cars to.
They do all kinds of stupid, crazy stuff. They race across.
I think I've seen.
Yeah, but that's it's not like, I guess it's more the game show reality. That's when you say reality TV, I think of Survivor and those game show type things. But maybe it's a much broader, whatever audio or genre than I'm thinking, I suppose.
Yeah, I just think it goes too long, right? Because they have to develop characters. Like, they might start out with 100 people in this challenge, but they have to, figure out who the characters are, right? And so it takes a long time to develop a personality because people want to be invested. I want to be invested. I want to know that guy. Hey, how's Carlos going to do? How's Tim going to do? How's Tina going to do? Right. Yeah. And then you kind of root for one, you don't root for others. I mean, it's the same stuff. It's like I've told you this before. What is the time where a movie has to grab your attention? A movie or a show? Yeah. You know how much time they got? Like, MrBeast has it at 30 seconds for an internet video. Yeah. But for TV shows and movies, it's slightly different. Right? Because you're already sitting down to invest.
Yeah. I could see that there's a different length of time, like a YouTube video. Yeah. You can click away and there's a million other things right there. A TV show, I'd probably give it a couple minutes or a few minutes because you kind of go through more steps to get there. If I'm watching a movie, I might give it a touch more time unless I've gone to the theater. Then I'm probably giving it 5 or 10 minutes before I say, let's go grab a beer and we walk out, which I've done quite a few times actually, because it's like, life's too short to sit through this garbage,
So movies, the science behind it is 9 minutes. I have to grab your attention in 9 minutes. And that's why you'll see, you'll see a weird scene in the very first minute. Sometimes it's the end scene, right? Because I'm like, well, shit. Now I got to figure out how that happened. How'd they get to that point?
Trying to hook you early,
or it's like a wedding. It's like a wedding. It looks great, and then 90 seconds later, she slaps the guy, runs around, runs out, tears. Yeah. Now I'm invested. Like, shit, what happened? They have to create that problem that we can relate to, where we're curious enough to stay longer to figure out what happened
and
or what's going to happen.
And I wonder if that's to an extreme now as well, with all sorts of content that you have to grab people sooner because this isn't back in the 80s where you go to a movie, but there's only 10 movies out and there's only 3 channels on the TV when you get home. So did they have more time to get your attention to kind of just ease into a movie compared to today, where today it's like, well, you got to catch people right away or they're out the door, right?
Yeah, I mean, 90% of the shows, even the TV shows that we're watching, they'll start off with a murder. And then, the rest of the show is like trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
Right. So it's almost like there's a bait up front to keep you invested in to figure out how that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Well, it's interesting, but it is interesting also that the different mediums, how much they change. And for us, like you and I, being on YouTube, and not just for Mike and Blaine, but for, different types of business promotion and marketing and things. It's tricky because you have to try and catch people's attention right away. And we're not Hollywood writers and pros, right? So it's a bit more of a challenge.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is that if you watch how MrBeast did his thing, all right. So when I ran restaurants, remember, I think you've heard me say this statement before, that you don't want to become a character in the play.
Yeah.
Right. Where every time I walked in, like if I didn't say hi to everybody that was there, that was a regular, then they say, "Oh, what the hell's wrong with that guy?" That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, early on, MrBeast was the thing. He was in every minute of every video. If you've looked, he's evolved where he's more host than he is main character.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting shift that he's done.
Yeah.
Is that, he's trying to create a system to whereas the MrBeast brand can exist without him. I mean, I got that problem with Cash on Mike. That's why you're starting to see me shift to this clear path to cash. I'm talking more clear path to cash. Cash on Mike might be the company, it might be me, but I want you to buy the clear path to cash.
Yeah.
So, because, you have investors, you have just anybody that wants to buy your company later says, well, if you're not there, is this still a company?
It's hard to scale yourself.
Yeah. So I think it's an interesting thing where he's becoming more host, and you'll probably see over time where there'll be another guy kind of emerge as the host.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if it's just like suddenly they have a host doing some other sub episode or a product that they make, and they'll just work them in. And because it does make sense, especially for that size of operation, it has to make that transition to be able to really scale. Although we scaled really well already. So, it's got something cooking there.
Yeah. So the other thing I like that he does is there's some humanitarian philanthropy, humanitarianism that he's doing. He did and it took him like a year or two to film this, which is I built, how he does his titles. I built 100 wells in Africa. And he did, right? But he tells the story on this David Letterman thing about how, it was like the first 5 to figure out if this was going to work or not. So he was ready to scrap it, but he had investors, investing in the wells. He was more of the face. It wasn't his money a lot of times, but he invested in it as well. But he went out and went to these remote, tribes and remote town. They're not necessarily tribes because they just don't have a lot of the stuff we got. Small towns in Africa, and created wells of water that they could use rather than going an hour each morning to go pick it up somewhere else. And I'm going, damn, that's really good, right? I mean, he leveraged his celebrity, he leveraged his influence, because he's not just MrBeast in USA, he's MrBeast in the world, right? He's that guy. So he had this presence in the world that impacted Africa with 100, and just because he made up a number, If we can do 5, we can do 100.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's basically the way he thinks.
Yeah.
If I can do 5, I can do 100. I'm going, damn, that is impressive to me. I mean, when you see people using their position to go improve other people's lives, maybe he gets a little benefit of it. Who cares?
Who cares?
He improved way more people than him.
Yeah.
In the process.
Yeah. And it's interesting where and yeah, I do give him a lot of credit for someone to have that sort of position to be able to say, I can use this and I can do something really effective. And what surprises me sometimes is how one person's vision can go so much further than sometimes entire organizations. Because I've read recently, and I can't even remember who it is. You guys can look online because I just can't remember who it is. I should remember because it was amazing. But there was a Hollywood star that built, oh boy, I think it was hundreds of tiny houses and made a little neighborhood to house the unhoused. Unbelievable. And they have social resources and everything all right there. Wow. It's like, how do they do something as a person with, frankly, probably not a whole lot of money, and they made it work? And it sometimes just tells me that I guess it's almost like solving some of these societal problems from an entrepreneurial approach. It's interesting to see some of these things where it's just, it's not overbuilt. It's just, let's get to the meat of it and get it done and do something really effective. Right. I just find that really, really, I applaud them, but I also find it really fascinating. It's like these guys did what so many large organizations seem to struggle to do. And I don't know why.
The one thing, I mean, again, I just saw this last week. The one thing that struck me about his business model, right? Especially because I talk to accountants all day long and they go like, I wish my business owners, my clients wouldn't take so much out. Bankers tell me that. I wish they wouldn't take so much out. As soon as they get a little bit of money, they go buy a boat. They go down to Cabo. They go, you see it. Yep. They take too much out of the business. Where most people, creators, entrepreneurs, whoever, say, how much can I take out of this business? He's the opposite. He goes, how much can I put into it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With these challenges. And, it's a weird, different mindset that you and I haven't thought about. Not saying we wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I've done it because I haven't, but it's one of those things. It's a mind shift. I think it should be explored more. How much can I invest back into it?
Yeah, it's very much like that long-term investment. But the other thing is, it's not, because I have seen the odd time businesses where I look at it and go, they're sitting on too much cash and they're not doing anything with it. And that's the thing, is that he's putting it in, but with a very defined purpose and a very defined goal, because it's kind of the three things. It's like they take too much money out, or they leave money in and just sit on it. Or this is the other issue that I see businesses do all the time. They take money and they spend it on something they haven't validated. They're just like, we got a bunch of money, so let's do some marketing, and they do something they've never done before. They've never tested, they've never validated, and it doesn't work. And with him, it's like, how much can I invest back in? But it's also, he's got a plan, he's got a strategy, he's got a process that is like, I've done it, rinse and repeat. And if it's not good enough, we kill it and we move on to the next one, because when we do it right and it works, it just works. And so he's got a level of discipline that goes along with that to be able to execute on something that's actually going to work.
Well, and the thing is, he studies people and they're constantly. What will you click on if I change this word to that word? If I use this color versus that? Mm-hmm. If you look at it, I mean, a lot of his thumbnails are him, right?
Yeah. Most
people, because of who he is now, he realizes that if I'm on it, more people click on it, right? Yeah. So that helps him understand how he can drive traffic. That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. It's just like you said, the title. I built 100 wells in Africa. Okay, well, that's impressive. If I'm interested in that, I'm gonna click on it.
Yeah.
and then it's him. And then, or I gave $1 million to a random person on the street. I'll watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it when it takes an hour to watch that.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to move. It's got to have pace. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's just him. You got to know when you go in there that it's not a 3-minute thing that he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's going to set up every part of it and show you, because it took him months to do that one video.
Yeah.
Where you and I can sit down for an hour and just create a video. Not this guy.
Yeah.
He's months out in development. Months out. He's got things going right now we won't even see until September or October.
Yeah. This is where like that discipline and the craft, the structure, the process, and the quality of writers amazes me, because I know we sat down the other night and we're just grabbing a bite to eat tonight, and I flipped on a 30 Rock episode, but it was streaming, so there was no commercials, and I saw the time on it. The timestamp was 19 minutes.
Yeah.
And I thought, how do they do what seemed like it is such an in-depth story from start to finish? They got the story arc, they get everything. 19 minutes. And I could go drone through a software demo that is like comparatively should be probably 3 minutes if it was that tight and that absolutely bang on. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how they could tell all that story in 19 minutes.
Well, we should do an episode on that, on how the mind actually makes leaps, fills in the blanks.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. I mean, how I could show you half of a demo where I went from here to here, and you would just, in your mind, figure out how I did it.
Figure out how you do it. And it's hard from our side to do that. I find that so fascinating. I know that virtually every sitcom has the exact same structure. And I read about it years ago, and I just can't remember what it was, but it kind of half ruined it for a bit, because as you're watching shows after that, you could recognize, here's where they're doing this, here's where they're doing that. It's just like, it's a story arc, but it's very much, there's a very specific one to sitcoms on how it builds it out and where it gets to, and it does it all in like basically 20 minutes every time. And it's just unbelievable that they can do that.
Yeah. And the commercials are strategically placed, so when it comes back, it's not starting from where you were. It starts at a new position, and you make the leap.
And the interesting thing that I've noticed is some of the streaming platforms, they would just put commercials at a specific time all the time, and it would cut in at the weirdest times. And I think they've realized we're losing people, because now the commercials, it seems like they're starting to get to a similar pace as when it was broadcast. And I think they've realized we're losing viewers because we're just slamming something in with a hammer, right? So it's interesting, just circling back to going, you should have looked at television to start with. These guys figured that stuff out over 50 years,
Yeah. Huh. Speaking of figuring stuff out, you and I, we've been in business over 50 years, right? I think
together, I would think so. Yeah.
Together, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easily. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are. We got our own little podcast called Mike and Blaine, Business, Beer, and BS. And if you want to support this type of show, if you want to hear these type of discussions, and I know you're out there, I know you're sitting in the car, you tell me all the time, Mike, I listened to you when I was driving. Mike, I did this. Mike, I did that. Support the show, right? Support the show. Go buy the merch. Go download. Go tell your friends. Give us a couple more subscribers here and there, and buy beer.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.